Have you ever noticed how much energy you spend trying to protect yourself? Think about it for a moment. How much of your day is consumed by defending against criticism, guarding against disappointment, building walls to keep pain out, or preparing for the next attack? If you're honest, you'll probably realize that most of your mental and emotional energy goes into some form of defense. And here's the thing that might shock you. Every single one of those defenses is not only failing to protect you, but it's actually making you more vulnerable. What if I told you there's a completely different kind of defense? One that never fails, never backfires, and actually makes you invulnerable while simultaneously making you more loving? What if the very thing you think will protect you is the thing that's keeping you in danger, and the thing you think makes you vulnerable is actually your greatest protection? This is exactly what we're diving into today as we explore one of the most revolutionary concepts in A Course in Miracles: the atonement as defense. This isn't just spiritual theory. This is life-changing wisdom that will transform how you handle every conflict, every fear, every moment when you feel under attack. In our last conversation, we discovered the origins of separation and how we've been using our incredible creative power to project rather than extend. Today, we're going to see how that same misunderstanding has led us to create defensive strategies that not only don't work, but actually perpetuate the very problems we're trying to solve. Here's what most people don't realize. Every time you defend yourself in the traditional way, by attacking back, by building emotional walls, by trying to prove you're right, by withdrawing your love, you're actually reinforcing the belief that you're vulnerable and that attack is real. You're strengthening the very illusion that's causing your pain. But the Course offers us something absolutely revolutionary. It teaches us about a defense that cannot be used destructively, a protection that grows stronger the more you share it, and a safety that comes not from keeping others out, but from letting love flow through you to everyone. This might sound impossible, even naive. Your ego is probably already objecting. But what about when people really are attacking me? What about when I'm facing real threats? What about when others are trying to hurt me? These are exactly the questions we're going to answer, and the answers will blow your mind. The truth is, you've been operating under a fundamental misunderstanding about the nature of attack and defense. You've been trying to protect something that cannot actually be threatened, while leaving your real treasure completely unguarded. You've been fighting battles that don't need to be fought while missing the one victory that would end all conflict forever. What we're about to explore will challenge everything you think you know about protection, safety, and strength. You're going to discover why the Course says, "The meek shall inherit the earth." And no, this doesn't mean being a doormat or letting people walk all over you. You're going to learn about a kind of strength that doesn't need to prove itself, a power that grows through gentleness, and a defense that works by refusing to see attack as real. This isn't about becoming passive or naive. This is about becoming so powerful that you don't need to use force. This is about understanding that your true safety comes not from what you can keep out, but from what you allow to flow through you. This is about recognizing that the love you are cannot be threatened, damaged, or destroyed by anything in this world. Every relationship conflict you're facing, every workplace drama, every family tension, every moment of anxiety about the future, all of these situations are opportunities to practice this revolutionary form of defense. And when you do, something miraculous happens. Not only do you become truly safe, but you become a source of safety for everyone around you. Are you ready to discover why your greatest protection comes not from defending against love, but from extending it? Are you ready to learn how the very thing you think makes you weak is actually your invincible strength? Are you ready to understand why choosing love over fear isn't just noble, it's the most practical thing you can do? Then let's dive into one of the most empowering teachings in A Course in Miracles, because your invulnerability is waiting to be remembered, and the world needs the safety, that only you can give. The nature of true defense. Let me start by asking you something that might completely shift your perspective. What if everything you've been taught about defense is backwards? What if the very strategies you use to protect yourself are actually the source of your vulnerability? This isn't just spiritual philosophy. This is a fundamental truth that will revolutionize how you experience safety in this world. Here's what the Course reveals that changes everything. There are only two types of defense in this universe. There's the ego's version of defense, which is based on the belief that attack is real and must be met with counterattack. And there's the Holy Spirit's version of defense, which is based on the recognition that attack is impossible because only love is real. Think about every defense mechanism you've ever used. Building emotional walls to keep people out. Attacking back when someone hurts you. Withdrawing your love to punish someone. Proving you're right to show they're wrong. Preparing for the worst so you won't be disappointed. What do all of these have in common? They're all based on the fundamental belief that you can be hurt, that attack is real, and that you need to protect yourself from it. But here's the revolutionary insight that A Course in Miracles offers. The very act of defending against attack makes attack real in your experience. Every time you respond to an attack as if it's real, you're actually strengthening the illusion that created the attack in the first place. You're feeding the very system that's causing your pain. The Course tells us something that initially sounds impossible. The atonement is the only defense that cannot be used destructively. What does this mean? The atonement is the recognition that separation never occurred, that attack is impossible, and that only love is real. When you defend yourself from this perspective, you're not fighting against attack. You're extending love that dissolves the illusion of attack. Here's where it gets really profound. The text says, "A double-edged defense is inherently weak precisely because it has two edges and can be turned against you unexpectedly." Every ego defense is double-edged. When you attack back, you make yourself attackable. When you build walls to keep pain out, you also keep love out. When you withdraw to protect yourself, you create the very isolation you're afraid of. But the atonement as defense has no edges that can turn against you. Why? Because it's not based on opposition or resistance. It's based on extension. When you extend love in the face of attack, you cannot be hurt because you're operating from your invulnerable nature. You're remembering that what you truly are, love itself, cannot be threatened. Now, I know your mind might be racing with objections right now. But what about physical attacks? What about real dangers? What about people who are genuinely trying to hurt me? This is where the Course becomes incredibly practical. It's not asking you to be naive or to put yourself in harm's way. It's asking you to understand the difference between taking practical precautions in the world of form while maintaining spiritual invulnerability at the level of truth. The most beautiful part of this teaching is what it reveals about strength. The Course says, "The meek shall inherit the earth literally because of their strength." True strength doesn't need to prove itself through force. True power doesn't need to dominate or control. True safety doesn't come from keeping others away, but from recognizing that what you truly are cannot be threatened by anything. When you operate from this understanding, something miraculous happens. People feel safe around you because you're not defending against them. Conflicts dissolve because you're not feeding them with resistance. Attacks lose their power because you're not giving them reality in your mind. This doesn't mean you become passive or that you don't stand up for yourself. It means you respond from love rather than fear, from strength rather than weakness, from truth rather than illusion. You become what the Course calls defenseless in your strength, so centered in love that nothing can throw you off balance. Are you ready to discover how this works in practice? Because in our next section, we're going to explore how miracles become your protective power and how extending safety to others becomes the source of your own invulnerability. The miracle. As protective power, here's something that will absolutely transform how you handle conflict. Miracles aren't just beautiful spiritual experiences that happen occasionally. They're your most practical tool for protection in every challenging situation you face. When you understand how miracles work as your defensive power, you'll never feel helpless or vulnerable again. The Course reveals something extraordinary. The miracle converts the defense of the atonement into your true protection. What does this mean in practical terms? It means that every time you choose to see a situation through the eyes of love instead of fear, you're not just being nice, you're actually invoking the most powerful protection available in the universe. Think about the last time someone attacked you verbally. Maybe they criticized you, blamed you, or said something hurtful. What was your immediate response? Most likely, you either attacked back, defended yourself, or withdrew. But what if there was a fourth option? What if you could respond with such love and clarity that the attack simply dissolved? This is exactly what miracles do. When you choose to extend love in the face of attack, you're not just changing your response, you're changing the entire energy field of the situation. You're refusing to participate in the illusion that attack is real, and that refusal has miraculous power to transform everything. Here's the key insight that changes everything. When you defend yourself in the traditional way, you're operating from the belief that you're small, vulnerable, and separate. But when you extend a miracle, you're operating from the recognition that you are vast, invulnerable, and connected to everyone. Which version of yourself do you think is actually safer? The Course teaches us something revolutionary about safety. As you assume your right-mindedness, you become both symptom and healer. This means that when you choose love over fear, extension over projection, you're not just protecting yourself, you're becoming a source of protection for everyone around you. You're literally healing the very conditions that create attack. But here's where it gets really practical. And this is something you can start using immediately. Every person who seems to attack you is actually crying out for love. Behind every criticism is someone who feels unloved. Behind every angry outburst is someone who feels powerless. Behind every attack is someone who has forgotten who they really are. Just like you sometimes forget who you really are. When you recognize this, everything changes. Instead of seeing an enemy who needs to be defeated, you see a brother or sister who needs to be reminded of their true nature. Instead of feeling threatened, you feel called to extend the very love that will heal both of you. This is what the Course means when it says you become both son and brother through true defense. Now let me address the question that's probably burning in your mind. But what if they don't respond to love? What if they keep attacking? Here's the beautiful truth. Your safety doesn't depend on their response. Your invulnerability comes from your choice to extend love, regardless of how it's received. When you operate from love, you cannot be truly hurt because you're aligned with your unassailable nature. This doesn't mean their behavior doesn't affect you on the human level. It means that at the deepest level of your being, where your true identity resides, nothing they do can touch you. And from that place of invulnerability, you can respond with both love and wisdom. You can set healthy boundaries. You can remove yourself from harmful situations. You can take practical action. But you do it all from love, not fear. The Course reveals something that will blow your mind. As you become more and more secure, you assume your natural talent for protecting others, recognizing yourself simultaneously as son and brother. This means that true strength naturally flows into service. When you know you can't be hurt, you spontaneously become a guardian of others' safety. Think about someone you know who embodies this principle. Someone who remains calm in chaos, who extends peace in conflict, who seems unshakable no matter what's happening around them. Don't you feel safer in their presence? Don't you feel more peaceful, more grounded, more hopeful when you're with them? That's the power of miracle-minded defense in action. This is what you're being called to become, not through effort or struggle, but through remembrance. You're being invited to remember that your true nature is so vast, so loving, so connected to the infinite, that nothing in this temporary world of illusions can threaten what you really are. The miracle doesn't change what's happening. It changes your perception of what's happening. And when your perception changes, your experience changes. When your experience changes, your response changes. And when your response changes, the entire situation transforms. Are you ready to discover how to put this into practice in your daily life? Because our next section will show you exactly how to invoke this miraculous protection in every situation you face. Practical application of spiritual defense now. Comes the moment you've been waiting for. How to actually use this miraculous defense in your real life, with real people, in real situations. This isn't just theory anymore. This is your practical toolkit for becoming invulnerable while remaining loving. And I promise you, once you start applying these principles, you'll wonder how you ever lived without them. Here's your first key to successful application. Learn to recognize the difference between ego defense and spiritual defense by how they feel in your body. When you're using ego defense, you'll feel contracted, tense, guarded. Your chest might tighten, your jaw might clench, your breathing might become shallow. This is your internal alarm system telling you that you're operating from fear. But when you're using spiritual defense, extending love in the face of attack, you'll feel expanded, grounded, peaceful. Even in challenging situations, there's a sense of spaciousness, of being connected to something larger than the drama. Your breathing remains deep, your heart stays open, your mind stays clear. This is how you know you're accessing your true protection. Let me give you a practical example that you can use immediately. Imagine someone at work criticizes your project in front of others. Your ego's immediate response might be to defend your work, attack their competence, or withdraw in hurt. But here's how spiritual defense works. You pause for just a moment and ask, how can I extend love here? Maybe you respond with genuine curiosity. That's an interesting perspective. Can you help me understand what would work better? Maybe you acknowledge their input while maintaining your confidence. I appreciate your feedback. Let me consider how to incorporate that. Maybe you simply send them silent love while responding professionally. The specific words matter less than the energy you're extending. Here's what's miraculous about this approach. When you respond from love rather than fear, you completely change the dynamic. The person who criticized you suddenly finds themselves in the presence of someone who isn't defensive, who isn't attacking back, who isn't making them wrong. This disarms the entire conflict and often transforms it into collaboration. But here's where it gets really powerful. The Course teaches us how to invoke the atonement in the moment of conflict. When you feel yourself being triggered, when attack seems real, when you want to defend in the old way, you can simply think, Holy Spirit, help me see this differently. Show me how to extend love here. That simple request opens you to miraculous perception. The key is to remember that you're never defending your ego self. You're always extending from your true self. You're not trying to prove you're right. You're demonstrating what love looks like in action. You're not trying to win the argument. You're offering the healing that the situation is calling for. Now let's address the situations that feel most challenging. What about when someone betrays your trust? When someone spreads lies about you? When someone genuinely tries to harm you? Here's the profound truth. Even in these extreme situations, spiritual defense is not only possible, but most necessary. This doesn't mean you don't take practical action. You might need to end a relationship, pursue legal protection, or remove yourself from harm's way. But you can do all of this while maintaining love in your heart for the person who hurt you. You can protect yourself practically while forgiving spiritually. This is what the Course means by being both son and brother. The ultimate test of spiritual defense is this. Can you maintain your inner peace while taking appropriate action? Can you set firm boundaries while keeping your heart open? Can you protect yourself and others while still seeing the light in everyone involved? When you can do this, you've mastered the art of spiritual defense. Here's your daily practice, and this will change your life. Every morning, set the intention to extend love in whatever challenges arise. Don't try to figure out how, just set the intention. Then, throughout the day, when conflicts arise, pause and ask, how can I extend love here? Trust that you'll be shown. Remember, you're not trying to become perfect at this overnight. You're learning to recognize when you're operating from fear versus love, and gently correcting course when you notice you've slipped into ego defense. Every time you choose love over fear, you're strengthening your spiritual immune system. Every time you extend rather than defend, you're remembering your true invulnerability. The beautiful promise of the Course is that as you practice this consistently, it becomes your natural response. Love becomes your default mode. Peace becomes your home base. And from this place of genuine strength, you become a gift to everyone you encounter. You are not a victim of this world. You are not at the mercy of other people's choices. You are a powerful extension of love itself. And when you remember this truth, nothing can shake your peace, threaten your joy, or diminish your light. Thank you so much for diving deep into this transformative teaching with me. Understanding the atonement as defense isn't just spiritual knowledge. It's your pathway to experiencing true invulnerability while remaining completely loving. You now have practical tools to handle every conflict, every challenge, every moment when you feel under attack. If this teaching resonated with you and brought you new insight, please show your support by hitting that like button. It helps these life-changing teachings reach more people who need to hear them. And if you're ready to continue this journey into A Course in Miracles with me, make sure to subscribe to this channel and turn on all notifications so you never miss our daily explorations into the Course's most powerful teachings. I encourage you to put these principles into practice immediately. Don't wait for the perfect situation. Start with whatever challenges you're facing right now. The holy instant is always available, and your willingness to extend love is all that's needed to access your true protection. In the comments below, I'd love to hear about your experience with spiritual defense. Have you ever responded to attack with love and witnessed the miraculous shift that happens? Share your story. Your experience might be exactly what someone else needs to hear to begin their own practice of miracle-minded living. Remember, you are not vulnerable. You are not at the mercy of this world, and you are not separate from the love that is your source and your strength. Tomorrow, we'll continue our journey deeper into the Course's teachings. Because your awakening to love is happening daily, and the world needs the light you're here to shine. Keep extending that beautiful love of yours into every situation. You are more powerful than you know, and more protected than you can imagine.